Dun, 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 dun. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Get Geeked Podcast, and it is episode 45. At least I believe so. I'm pretty sure it is. It has been a very, very exciting morning, I would say. It is March 9th. Tomorrow's March 10th. And this morning, it has been confirmed. It has come out. All the people who has footage, who was invited out to the secret playtime or whatever, or test play for Call of Duty Activision, who was all the people that were invited out to Activision to test out the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone are now allowed to show all of their footage. Basically, the secret NDA has been lifted, and it's been confirmed. The trailer is out and everything like that. I know that Twitch leaked it this morning accidentally, like they weren't supposed to, but it's been leaked. And yeah, it's confirmed everything that we've been talking about. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has a battle royale. I'm super stoked, super stoked. I just wanted to open with that because, we've been talking, I've been talking about it for so long, and there hasn't been any confirmation that I felt like I was just making it up. And I was starting to feel like it was all just rumors and lies and this was never going to happen. Well, we can all rest now. We could all be super stoked and super hyped. It is real. It has been confirmed. And it's coming out tomorrow, March 10th. So, 10 a.m. I believe, because it's 12 Eastern, so 10 a.m. Pacific for us. The crazy thing about it is all the rumors are pretty much almost legitly true. It is free to play. So if you have a PlayStation, if you have a PC, if you have an Xbox, it's going to be in the shop. It's going to be for free. You could download it. You could play it. You don't need to buy Call of Duty. All you need to do is download the Warzone. And but the thing is for the people who don't own Call of Duty, you guys are probably going to get it around 2 or something like that. It's going to be available for everyone to download around 2. But for everyone who owns Call of Duty, we should be getting it ready to go around 10 a.m., which is super dope. And there's a lot of cool things about this Battle Royale. From what I've seen, from what I've heard, and from what all these individuals who were invited to the Activision to test out the beta and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool things about it. This is going to be totally one of the most unique battle royales out there. One of the things that I do like is that you don't have to search around for attachments for your weapons. You either find a weapon and it's just completely raw, or you make a loadout in the beginning. But the thing is that when you drop in, you don't get your loadout, but you have to collect money. And that's the other thing. There's money involved here. You have to collect money through the gameplay. And when you collect this money, there's payout zones or banks and stuff. And you could buy a drop. You could buy a drop. And when you call into the drop, you get that loadout that you built in the beginning, which is pretty cool. And not just that, too. The other cool thing I like about this that everyone's been talking about is that when you die, it is not over for you. You get sent to the gulag, which is like a prison area. And in this gulag, you are allowed to you are put into a 1v1 situation. And if you win the 1v1 situation, they spit you back out into the map and you get another chance at the game, which is so awesome. I mean, Apex, Blackout, Fortnite, PUBG, no one's doing this yet. I mean, yeah, you have your respawn modes, but that's, in fact, they're going to have 2 modes for the Warzone. It's the Battle Royale, and then the other one's called Plunder, I believe, which is gonna be their respawn mode for the battle royale, situation. And the map. Oh my god, let's talk about this map. This map is humongous. I've seen the picture of the map. It is huge. The player base is 150, and I'm hoping, and I believe from what they said is that they're going to try to bring it up to 200, but they're going to start with 150. You get a 3-man squad mode, a duo mode, and a solo mode, which I hope they bring in squads later, because I really feel like I'd rather play squads than just 3-man. Because you're always going to have that friend who's going to be the odd man out, which is kind of weird, especially if you have more than just 4 friends. You kind of always do have a single man out. But, I also heard rumors that they're going to try to do a 5-man squad later on, but who knows, because if the player base reaches up to 200 in the future, why not have a squad? Why not have, the 5-man squad? Like, I don't see why that's a problem, and I don't know why they're starting with 3-man. I guess because it just makes the game run smoother, kind of like Apex. Apex, when it came out, it was a 3-man squad, and it just seemed like the game ran a little bit smoother than other battle royales who run 4-man squads. But who knows? But hopefully sooner in the future, they'll come out with a 4-man squad. At least for me. I mean, I'm just hoping for that. Just do it for me, Activision. Please do it for me. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure there's more other people out there other than me that wants a 4-man squad. If you guys agree, put it in the comments. Let me know, because it'd be dope. I would like a 4-man squad. So you drop it, and the thing is, you drop in with a pistol. So you start off with a weapon. You're not empty like other battle royales, which is cool. Because the thing is, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty beastly with a pistol in the beginning. So that's pretty cool. The gas is dangerous, but you could buy a gas mask, and that's the other thing about money in the game, is that you could buy perks, and you could buy a gas mask for when you're in the gas, because the gas kills really quickly. You could buy kill streaks, which I don't know about yet. It seems kind of ridiculous. And from what I heard from the people who've already played it, it gets a little bit ridiculous towards the end circle with the kill streak. So I hope they do something about that to balance out kill streaks and stuff like that. I was already worried enough when it was rumors about this stuff, about the kill streaks, because I mean, if you see like another squad in the distance and you just throw a kill streak at them, like, there's gonna be no way they could get it. There's gonna be no way. I don't know. And not just that. Okay, so to earn money in the battle royale, you could find it all over the map. It's gonna be all over the map. You can find it. Other than that, they have something called contracts and bounties, and this sounds pretty cool too. So while you're playing, a random person is going to be made into a bounty. So, but you don't know who it is, and they're going to give you the location where they're at, but not the direct location, just the area they're in. And the person gets notified that they are the bounty, so that, they're going to have to run and hide. And if you kill them, you collect the bounty. You have contracts to do all these other like objectives to earn cash and stuff like that. You can also kill the person with the cash and take the cash that they had, which is cool. So, there's so many games within this battle royale. I'm hoping it's going to have legs. I hear that Call of Duty is saying that this is going to be the last battle royale that they make, because they're going to continue updating it and can continue. They're just going to, this is it. This is their battle royale. This is their baby, and they're going to just make it last as long as possible. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how they're going to end up doing that. I don't know if that's going to work for them, but that's the rumor. That's what I'm going to go with. So yeah, I'm super stoked. If you guys are into Battle Royale, if you guys are into Call of Duty like I am, let me know how you feel. Let me know if you're stoked about it as well. I love the news. I woke up feeling pretty happy just hearing about it, seeing it. I saw the trailer. The trailer rocks. It plays the I'm Gonna Knock You Out song by, what's his name? LL Cool J. And the footage is just amazing. It shows plunder. It shows the battle royale. There's going to be vehicles. And okay, let's talk about this map for just a really quick moment. It's going to have a bunch of interest points that are taken from all the Modern Warfare that's ever been made. You're going to have airport. You're going to have scrapyard. You're going to have some of the new ones that they have out in the game right now. It's just humongous. And I'm excited because not just for the gameplay, not just for the mechanics, because that's one of the big things that I've always said about a battle royale. I was like, I've always been saying, why don't they ever make a battle royale with a Call of Duty mechanics? And now they are. So I can't wait to see and feel the regular Call of Duty mechanics in a battle royale. I mean, I know we had Blackout, but the thing was the Blackout mechanics was a little cartoony, a little arcadey, but the Modern Warfare mechanics is more realistic and more boots to the ground, and there's no superpower stuff and everything like that. And it's just quicker. It's a quicker move, smoother feel. One of the things they said too is that everything on the map is unique. There is no copy and paste. And that gets me very excited because you're not just being excited about the gameplay and the mechanics, but you're going to be excited about exploring the map itself. Going through every building, going through every LAN, and just seeing everything and just searching everything, and just know that everything is unique. There's no house that's just the same as the other house, I mean, because if you've played all the battle royales out there, you always see that same house that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of them are the same. Everything inside is the same. You go in and you know where to go and stuff like that. Well, this time around, each building and each area is going to be totally different. And for some weird reason, that excites me. I don't know why. I'm just that type of person to where, like, when a developer takes the time to think about this stuff, to create something that unique, and to take the time to make everything so unique like that, and then allow us to go through it and just see it and play in it and everything like that, it's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty awesome and cool, amazing thing. And that's basic. I think that's probably why it excites me. I don't know. That because I'm an artist myself. I do graphics stuff, and and I design things every day, and stuff like that. When it gets into my head, it excites me. It gets my neurons charging and stuff like that. So just knowing there's unique things and everything in this design and all that stuff, it gets me super stoked and hyped. So I'm very hyped about this. Some awesome news to wake up to. And yeah, before I even go any further, I also do want to apologize to you guys for missing last week. Episode 45 should have been last week, but I was too busy, and also there was just not enough news or nothing that I really wanted to talk about. Well, okay, that's kind of a lie. There were some stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't feel like I could do a whole hour or so with just those topics. I already did 2 episodes where I kind of took forever at the end, just going through my music playlist and everything like that. I just didn't really feel like doing it again, even though I'm going to do it again this time. Also, we're ending this episode with another playlist breakdown of one of my playlists, but I just didn't want to make it I didn't want to make that part of it half of the episode. That's what, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I missed last week. And going on in the future, I might just end up doing that. If I don't have enough stuff to talk about for an episode, I might just, wait till the week after where I'll have enough stuff to talk about to fill up a whole hour and do it like that. I might even turn it to I might even turn this to a bi-weekly podcast, depending on how much good stuff comes up and stuff like that. So if there's a week that goes by one after the other where there's a lot of stuff going on, I'll probably do it week to week. But if it ends up being a lull of information and a lull of news and stuff that there's nothing for me that gets me excited to talk about, I might just end up doing it bi-weekly. So We'll have to see. We'll play it. We'll feel it out. We'll play it year by year or day by day, week by week. Whatever happens. But okay, so we'll end the Call of Duty talk there. There's a lot of stuff to unpack. I've been watching a lot of videos this morning. But yeah, I don't want to fill this all up with just Call of Duty stuff. But I am super stoked about it. I can't wait till tomorrow to see it, to play it. I'll probably talk about it again next week, just to let you guys know how I feel about it. The review and stuff like that, right? Look out for maybe a video or something. I might be doing a video on it sometime this week. So I'll have I already put out my Pokemon Go Battle League video yesterday night, which is pretty cool. Go check that out. I got a brand new shiny that I got from winning 4 battles odd with the Battle League. If you guys don't know yet, now you do know. Go check that out if you're into that. And you can see me win 4 battles again this time. Kind of questionable wins, but hey, what are you going to do? I'll take the wins, right? And yeah, so the topic I want to talk about first, though, is podcasting, or just podcasts. I don't know how you say that. Podcasts? Yeah. Just because the last 2 weeks had a few very good episodes that I've watched and listened to. One being the Joe Rogan podcast, and the other one being the Tigerbelly podcast. I want to give those 2 shows a shout out. Like, they even care. They probably don't even watch this. They're not going to hear this, but still, I'll give them a shout out. And I want to talk about Tigerbelly first because last week they had a guest on, Rory Scovel. And even though most of their shows or most of their podcasts are kind of slapsticky and Bobby Lee kind of just jokes around too much and stuff like that, the guest, Rory, was, I don't know, something about him was very insightful, and he's a comedian as well, and he's very funny. He's been in a lot of movies, but something about him, the way he carried himself, the way he explained things, the things that he talked about with the Tigerbelly podcast crew, it was very insightful. It made me think about my life. It made me want to just keep on doing this because he talked a lot about just do what makes you feel good. Do the things that you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody, just do it. And then also just focus and keep on doing it, because if you don't do it, if you don't keep on doing it, then you're never going to know if you're going to get anywhere or something like that. I don't know. Something to that effect. It's not verbatim. I'm just kind of, projecting what I took in from what I heard. But it was just very insightful, and it was one of the most, it was one of the best episodes of Tigerbelly that I've heard in a while. And I give it up to the guest, Rory Scovel. They also had another episode come out, and I don't know if it was last week. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago, but yeah, because last week they had a solo episode where they didn't have any guests, and that was actually pretty good too, because I listened to that one as well. It was funny. They talked about different random things, and it was pretty cool. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed listening to it and stuff like that. But I really dig the Rory Scovel episode. And if you guys want something that's kind of funny to listen to, but still insightful and stuff like that, I suggest go check out Tigerbelly's last 2 episodes. Pretty cool stuff. Really cool guests. Funny guy, insightful guy. And he says a lot of cool, meaningful things, but in like a delightful, receivable way. I don't know, something about people like that is what I dig, I kind of try to build myself in that way in a little bit, but I don't think I'm at the level that he's at. But I always try to kind of not joke around, but make things light, make things palpable, I would say. But also, I always try to give insight or teach a little something to whoever I'm conversing with and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say, but he was cool. The episode was cool. I liked it. It was a very, very good episode. Tigerbelly, check it out. It's Bobby Lee, Kalila, and the rest of the crew. And then I want to talk about the Joe Rogan podcast. It was a pretty good show. And the thing is he has a lot that comes out in a week. But the one episode that I want to talk about is he had, oh my God, I can't remember his name, but he was an MTV like anchor for a little bit, and he's also the godfather of podcasts. Basically, he's the pod father. He's the guy who basically created podcasts. I'm sorry that I can't remember his name, but it was a cool and very informative and very, even though he felt a little skittish and very just a little into conspiracies and stuff like that, but it was still fun, and I still learned a lot from it. I got a lot of history on the technology, a lot of knowledge about the history and knowledge about the technology of podcasting, radio stuff, and you even got a little insight into I think it was Steve Jobs. Yeah, the creator of Apple. And it's crazy that the guest on that episode, he's an Apple fan, and even though like I hate Apple, I see why he's an Apple fan, and it's the only moment in life where this guy kind of made me change my thought on Apple just a little bit, because they're not trying as hard to steal information as Google is, because Google kind of is like the main thing on Androids, and so when you're on Android, you're basically giving out all your data and stuff like that. It's too conspiracy, so I don't really want to get into it. I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theory guy and stuff like that, but it was just interesting. It's a very interesting episode. I really dug it. So if you guys want to learn the history of podcasting, where it came from, how it started, what technology was used when they were starting it, the names of the people who came up with the name podcast, he talks about all of that, and this is straight legit. And the crazy part that surprised me a lot is that it came from a guy who used to do news on MTV. It's crazy. For me, it boggled my mind. But yeah, so like you can't really judge a book by its cover, really, because a guy could be a music jockey, or who's just a VJ, I guess, who was on like MTV or something, becomes the guy who invented the thing that you are doing now. And yeah, it's legit awesome. I wish I could remember his name, but it is on the Joe Rogan podcast. So if I still want to say sorry, I can't remember his name, but if you guys want to listen to it yourself, go to his YouTube channel or to his podcast, and just go back a few episodes, and you should be able to find it. It's amazing. It's an amazing listen. I'm a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. He has a lot of very interesting guests on all the time, and it's just a conversation between two people, and you get to learn stuff it's not biased. And that's the cool thing that I like about Joe Rogan, is that he's never biased. I mean, sometimes he'll play devil's advocate and stuff like that, but he's never biased, and and it's always, and it makes he makes it to where it feels like it's just two people sitting down having a conversation, and then you get to sit in and listen to the conversation, which is pretty cool. So that's the two podcasts that I want to kind of shout out, because they had very good episodes in the last 2 weeks. So go check them out. Joe Rogan podcast, Tigerbelly podcast, amazing. The second thing I want to get into, and this time I'm kind of glad that I get to do it by myself, because I know that when I brought this subject up before, when I had the other two hosts, they weren't really into it, and it was kind of like they didn't want to talk about it, and they didn't want to hear me talk about it. But this time I get to talk about it, and I'm talking about wrestling, WWE and AEW. And so AEW just had their pay-per-view last weekend. I want to say it was called Revolution. And WWE just had their pay-per-view on Sunday, and it was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I really don't want to compare the two, but I always end up comparing it anyways, just because AEW is the brand new startup, WWE is the big, older person on the field, and W gives AEW so much shit, and I don't know why. I wish they would just play nice with each other, because it would be so awesome if we could have crossover, so that you don't have to wait for someone to finish their contract on WWE to see them on AEW. So, like, if they played nice to each other, then people could just cross fields like whenever they want, and then it'd be cool that way. But what are you gonna do? Maybe in the future it'll happen. Who knows? But I give the edge this time still to AEW. For one reason, or for a few reasons. Seeing both pay-per-views, the AEW pay-per-view was just so much more, no bullshit. Like, there was no crust. You didn't have to go through like a crappy match to see the good match. There was no weird storyline that didn't make sense, and you're just like scratching your head like, why are they even still doing this storyline and stuff like that. Although I gotta give it up to WWE with the Elimination Chamber match, that they did do very, like, it's better than some of the pay-per-views that they've had in a while. And I'm talking about Crown Jewel, which was, I hate it so much. Watching that pay-per-view, I was just like, what are you guys doing right now? What is the idea of this? Where are you guys trying to go with this? They ruined one of my favorite characters that they brought in, which is the Fiend. Because if you guys don't know, the Fiend had the world title, and then they had the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, and he versus Goldberg out of nowhere. They didn't even have a storyline to bring Goldberg in. They just made the match, and of course they gave the belt to Goldberg, a couple of spears, and the Fiend was done. Even though the Fiend is supposed to be built like a character that doesn't get hurt, because every match he's had, you do a finishing move on him, he gets back up. But for some weird reason, Goldberg has the power to give him a couple of spears and he stays down. Doesn't make any sense, right? WWE, I don't know. But AEW is the opposite, and these are like kind of the new kid. Well, they're not the new kids on the block, because they've been around for a long while, But they're the indie kids who made their own company, and they put on a very good show. It was so amazing. Even though they're all most of the wrestlers that are on AEW are a little on the smaller side, it's still good. They still do good power moves, and And this you're invested in the story that they're telling, and every match is exciting. Seeing friends versus friends for the tag title, you were still invested in it, and people were taking sides. And even though the Young Bucks are like a beloved team, when you watched, you heard people booing the Young Bucks for some weird reason, and everybody's on Adam Page's side. And then but you want to cheer for Kenny Omega too, but they're going against the Young Bucks, so you're like, who do I root for? So you kind of have to choose sides in a little ways. And if you guys really want to see an amazing tag match, watch that match. Adam Page and Kenny Omega are the tag team champions, and they're going up against the Young Bucks. Non-stop action. Big spots after big spots, after setup after setup. It was just like overload of amazing things to watch. And not just that, you had Cody versus MJF, and they're building MJF as this big villain, and they're just doing it like he is the big villain. Like, everybody hates him now. But the thing is, there was a lot of good matches, and I'm giving too much praise to AEW. I mean, I'm valid for it. Just watch the two brands and you'll know what I'm talking about. And not just that, but Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho was an amazing finale fight. Jon Moxley gets the win and is now the new World Heavyweight Champion. But let's go talk about Elimination Chamber and WWE. Some of the matches are good. Here's what I don't get. They bring in this new guy, Carrillo. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know why he keeps on getting matches in pay-per-views if they're just going to keep on making him lose. Like, what's the deal? When is the payoff? When is he going to win a match? He'll win matches when he teams up with Rey Mysterio. But other than that, when it's a singles match, even on the regular shows on Mondays, he's always losing if he's doing a singles match. If he's always losing, why is he always getting a chance? Like, why still give him a chance? Like, what are we trying to do with him? Like, if you want us to kind of root for this underdog, give him an underdog feel. Let him win a couple of matches so that we could be like, oh, he might have a chance. And don't pin him up against the guy that he's supposed to be feuding with all the time, and just have the guy that he's feuding with win all the time, because then we're going to lose interest in him, because he's just going to lose all the time. Even at the pay-per-view. The thing is, I just don't get what they're trying to do. They're not giving us any hope. And I feel like that's like a better way to do the storyline, is if they give us a little bit of hope, but they're not. And not just that too, but I feel like Vince is messing up very royally, because he is burying one of the best wrestlers that he has on the roster, which is Ricochet. He had Ricochet lose to Brock Lesnar at the Crown Royal in 9 seconds. And then not just that, but then on the Monday night show right after, he loses to a guy who has barely arrived on the main roster, and lose to him pretty royally hard. I mean, and the thing is Ricochet was an awesome wrestler. If you watched him in NXT, that guy put up some crazy, ridiculously awesome matches on NXT. But ever since he's gotten or came to the main roster, they have just been giving him the shaft, dude. And if I was Ricochet himself, I would be trying to look for a way out to go somewhere else, because the way that the WWE is doing him, the way they are burying this guy, is so bad. I would be pissed if I was Ricochet. Let's just say that. And now they're pushing, what's his name, for the heavyweight title. I don't know, because I don't care. I never liked the dude. Like I said, I still don't remember his name. I never liked him. He's not memorable for me. His finishing move is super lame. It's called the Claymore. It's basically like a drop kick with one leg to the face. I don't know why they're pushing him, I guess. I don't know. People are cheering for him at least, like he's getting the cheers, so I guess I could see that. But to me, he's just not exciting. Every time I see his matches, I'm just not invested in it. The storyline was a little wonky in itself because, for one thing, he was a heel for the longest. He ran with a group of heels. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with like a snap of your finger, he became a face. And I don't even remember when he was supposed to have become a face. It just felt like during the Royal Rumble, he all of a sudden turned face. And now we're all supposed to cheer for him, So that's my gripe with WWE. It's just weird, wonky storytelling. And I've been even talking about Raw. Let's not even get into SmackDown where everything has just been so stale. They run a storyline to the grave. Like they will run it down. Roman Reigns and Corbin has been feuding for I don't know how long. I think it's almost been 2 years now. They finally stopped the feud, and now Roman Reigns is going after Goldberg for the title without even any setup. It just happened. Goldberg's like, who's next? And then Roman Reigns walks out and he's like, I'm next. And they walk away and stuff. And it's so weird. Bayley, I don't know who Bayley even supposed to be feuding with because there's like two girls that she's fighting at the same time. And her, the boss is there with her, and are they supposed to be a tag team? Is she supposed to be a single? What's going on? Who is she gonna face? What's the storyline? And not just that, but the tag team division is kind of weird because I don't know. They have the Miz and Morrison together back now, and they hold a title, but there's like a few other tag teams that are better than these guys, and I don't know what they're doing with it. Like, they're not even giving it a storyline at all because Heavy Machinery is feuding with what's his name. Jeez, it's just they need to get their things together over there at SmackDown. It is so completely just in the air. They need someone to run the show over there. They need to get a Paul Heyman over there. I mean, as badly as I talk crap on Raw has gotten so much better lately because Paul Heyman is part writer of Monday Night Raw. And for I feel like SmackDown could use a person like Paul Heyman to come and just help write the show for SmackDown because they need someone, and they need someone quickly because I just see them going further and further down. I haven't talked about NXT, but let me just say this about NXT. At least they put up a very good show. With the small amount of rosters they have, they always put down a good show. And their NXT and AEW both run on Wednesday, and I watch both every Wednesday. And I feel like they're pretty much equal. Even though AEW's been winning the ratings war every Wednesday, I feel like they're kind of equal because they kind of run almost kind of a similar show style, and they have the equal amount of action on both shows. So I feel like in WWE, NXT is the only brand that's doing it right because they have legit, straightforward storylines that you could follow that aren't lame and stupid, and their fighting and their matches make sense. Let's just say that. So I don't know. Like, the main roster should look to NXT for some, clues on how to do their shows, maybe. I don't know, but that's just me. If any of you out there are wrestling fans like I am, and you have your own opinion, let me know. Put it down in the comments. I would love to see what anyone thinks about it. I don't know if I'm the only one who is into it, but yeah. And with that, I'll just end it there for right now. those are my thoughts. I feel like AEW's Revolution was much better than a Elimination Chamber match or Chamber pay-per-view, whatever. I always say match, I don't know why, but yeah, that's my opinion. Although here's the thing, I don't hate on WWE because I want to see them lose. I'm shitting on them because I want them to do better. I've been a fan of WWE for so long that it saddens me to see them in the state that they're in right now, and I wish that they would start doing better so I could get back into loving it some more, and yeah, I don't hate them, because I mean, come on, I still watch them every week. So there's that. And with that, we'll get into the ending, the thing I do at the end of every podcast, which is go through my playlist. And this week it's going to be pretty cool because we're going to go through my heavy metal. The playlist I have, the name of the playlist that I have is called Heavy, but it's mostly just all like deathcore and metalcore bands that are on there. Before I do though, let me just parch my throat real quick. And before I go deep diving into this might be a very short list, only because for me, there's not that many bands that are, I mean, there are a lot of bands out there that are heavy, really, really heavy, but there's not that many bands for me that are heavy, but that sounds good to my ears, if that makes any sense. Because there's a ton of bands that are there that are as heavy, if not even heavier than the bands that I have on this list, but it's just not like these bands never put out any songs that I really digged, that I got into, that makes me gives me that energy feel. And then let me just explain my love for metal, and this is why I love metal. It's kind of a release. Back in my youth, when I used to go in the pit, I would be the one guy who would stay in the pit, for the circle pits, to the two steps, to the mosh, to, I was in there for the whole thing. And, all my friends and everyone around would always be surprised. Like, oh man, he's all, talking about me. Like, he's always in the pit. He doesn't stop. Where does he get the energy? But it was just a release. Metal for me is almost like a meditation. Because, you have all this aggression in your life. You get all this anger. But when you go to a show, you take that anger and you release it in the pit. And then once the show is over, you kind of feel lighter. And it feels good, and you feel kind of zen, and all this bad energy is just gone because you released it with this movement and the sing-alongs and the chants and the heavy feeling of the songs and the heaviness of each lyric and everything like that. You just release all that bad energy, and it makes you feel good. And that's why I love metal. People are a lot, some people out there is like, how do you like that stuff? It's all screaming, and sometimes you don't even understand what they're saying. But that's why I love metal, is because if I love the sound and I love a band that much, I'll learn the lyrics so I know what they're screaming about. And not just that, but just it's a place to feel the energy and to release the bad energy inside of the pit. I don't know. If you guys, let me know why you like metal. But that's why I like metal. And let's start it off. First band on my heavy playlist is none other than Acacia Strain. And I've been on record on my Instagram, I have said that the Acacia Strain is one of the most heaviest band out there, ever. And I'll still stick to it to this day. This band is so heavy that they have the most dangerous pits out there of any show that have ever been to. And I've been to a Warriors show, or I've been to many Warriors show. And if you guys have ever been to a Warriors show, then you know what I'm talking about. Those pits are bloody and painful. If you're not fast enough to watch yourself and to know when to duck and when to move, you are getting knocked out. You're losing 2 teeth, and I've seen it happen. But the Acacia Strain, and let me give you a story of one of the shows I went to of theirs. It was at the Glass House in Pomona, and there was a song, and they were about to get to a breakdown. And before the breakdown started, they stopped the song. They warned the people in the crowd that this was going to happen. They said, before the breakdown starts, we're going to turn off all the lights. And when we turn it back on, they want to see bodies on the floor. I don't know. It was ridiculous. But basically, that's basically what happened. So they turned off the lights, and they started the breakdown. And let's just say when the lights turn off, there was bodies being pulled out of the pit, blood on the floor, a bunch of kids were knocked out, and it was the most brutalist show I have ever been to in my life. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's been other brutal shows, but in my experience in my life, that was the most brutalist thing I ever seen. And I have songs from them from almost every album. I have I can never really say this name. Cthulhu, Doomblade, and I want to say it's Shut It Down. I don't know, but I named it Shut It Down, but I think I renamed it. So I don't know if the song's called Shut It Down, but that's what I have it on my playlist as. And Brown Noise, 5150, I think that's the name of the album. So I don't know if I have the name of the song. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Okay, but that's the Acacia Strain. Now let's get into Born of Osiris. I know that most of their albums, or on the rest of the album, it's not that heavy. I really consider them more like a tech metal type band, electronic almost. But a few of their songs are pretty heavy, and I have this song called "Follow the Signs." This is one of the first songs I've heard from them. The first time I ever saw them was, I think, at like a LA Metal Fest, or it might have been Murder Fest. I forget which fest it was. It was either one of those. And I saw them live, and I remember hearing this song called basically "Follow the Signs," and it blew me away. Just the way they use their electronic stuff, the keyboards and stuff, and their synth and what do you call it? Their electronic style stuff that they used in the song, with the heaviness of everything else and the lyrics. It was just amazing, and it was brand new. Like, their style was kind of brand new to me at the time. I have never heard anything like it before. And plus it being so heavy, it was amazing. And I guess that's really all I can say about that. Born of Osiris. Follow the signs. Follow the signs. The next band I have on here is Somnus. Now, I don't know too much about this band. All that I know is that I had a buddy, and he played with, I was friends with this band. Why am I blanking? I'm so mad at myself. They're Overthrow. There you go. I was friend with this band called Overthrow. I knew all the guys in the band. I basically roadied for them for a bit, and the drummer was part of this band. And just because he was part of the band after Overthrow had broken up, he did other projects, not just this, but he was part of this project as well. So I checked it out, I listened to it, and yeah, they had some good songs, and it, pretty heavy stuff. But I have Genesis on here from Somnus, and then kind of the same deal with this next band, Elixir of an Alchemist. They are buddies of mine. I know they have a whole different crew now. I know the singer well. I know the bass player, I want to say, or is it the guitar player? It might be the guitar player. I forget what he plays. And they also have this. I want to say they have the same drummer as Somnus now, but I don't know. But yes, Elixir of an Alchemist. Or am I thinking about a totally different band? Who knows? But I might be getting this all wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the correct what I'm thinking. But I have The Great Awakening. And then from Somnus as well, I have Hollow. Now, the next band I want to get into is Misericordium. Amazing band from Las Vegas, Nevada. The first time I saw these guys was at the Allen Theater here in LA, or I want to say Paramount. I forget what city they're really in, and it's like Paramount, Downey, somewhere kind of that area, but it's called the Allen Theater. The first time I saw them was at the Allen Theater, and when they first hit, it blew me away. You want to talk about heavy, but heavy with speed. They put the two together. They took something very, very heavy and very, very fast, combined the two, and they did deathcore like no one's ever done deathcore that I've ever heard of. And they were fun. And I even became like, the band themselves were pretty cool. I actually, I don't know them well, but I remember being pretty cool with the singer. Very, very nice guys. And the dude, when they play, their live show is just nutty because the singer himself just goes berserk on stage. And there's not much that I can say about it. Is that they're heavy. That's all that I can say. It's so heavy and so fast and so good. So the bad thing is that when they started, and they were like in the indie scene for the longest, and as soon as they got signed, and as soon as they were about to blow up, they kind of did a Splitsville. They got rid of the singer. Last time I heard, they got rid of the singer, which was the pretty coolest guy I'd known. So I don't know what happened there. And then they put out an album. I don't even know if it even got released, but I know they were recording an album. I never heard it though. I only still have their EP. So I don't know if they ever put out a fully labeled album or anything, but because the last time I heard is that they split or they went on hiatus, and I had never heard of them coming back together or not. But very, very good band, very, very heavy, and very, very fast. So if you want super heavy with a lot of speed, Misericordium is the band for you. And on here, I have Hefty, Obsessive, a song called Shasha. I want to say it was like Shasha Boom, but I only have Shasha. I put Shasha on here. I don't know why. But yeah, they have the rest of the EP is amazing as well. I don't know why I don't have the rest of it on here, but those are the songs that I have. Now we go to We Are the End. This band, I don't have much of a story on. I just know that they were around when I was in the scene, and their albums were always pretty good and to very good. and I just have them on here because it's heavy and it hits hard, and just a good band to bang your head to. So I have Sky's Most Wanted Goodbyes. And then let's get into the last couple of bands. And then I'm going to give a few kind of like quick shout outs to other bands that should be on here, but just not because I haven't had a chance to put them on here. But before we get there, Suicide and Silence is my second to last band that I have on here. If you want heavy, if you want deathcore, and if you want something very, very funky and heavy to listen to, you can't do any better than Suicide and Silence. I mean, they were big when they were around. Rest in peace to the singer, or to the original singer. Not the original, because they actually had an original singer, but the singer after that, he passed away from a motorcycle accident. And they were an amazing band when he was around. They are still touring. They're still together, but with a new singer. But tell your truth. I mean, and this is my opinion, so don't take it too hard. Because if you guys are still into them and like the new stuff, then that's your opinion. I'm not gonna hate on that. But to me, the new singer just doesn't do it for me. There's something weird about his screams that I don't feel it. But yeah. But their older albums with the old singer, it just something about the sound that he made was just untouchable. And I have on here on my playlist, I have Wake Up, Bludgeon to Death, Disengage, You Only Live Once. And I know like the rest of all the other songs on those albums are amazing as well. It's just these are the songs that I have on the playlist because it gets me through the day. And when I'm driving through traffic, I'm just grinding and banging to these songs. You know what I'm saying? So, not banging in that way. That's not what I'm saying. Head banging. The last band on here is kind of weird. They probably don't really belong on here, but I put it on here just because when the song comes on, I kind of just like to listen to it. It's not really the band themselves is not that heavy. And this is a really old band, but the last band I have on here is Bleeding Through, A Love Lost, and I forgot the name. Love Lost in a field of gunfight or gunfire, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. If you guys know Bleeding Through, you guys know what I'm talking about. But that's my playlist. That's the heavy playlist. Oh, Love Lost in a Hail of Gunfire. I'm sorry. Gosh, jeez, I'm so stupid. But yeah, that's my heavy playlist. There probably should be more bands on there that are heavier than most of the bands that are on there. I also want to give a shout out to Overthrow, which is used to be a local band. They have broken up, but when they were around, I considered them one of the most heaviest local bands that I have ever heard, and I think they should be. I found some of their stuff on YouTube, so I don't know if you could find it anywhere else. If you guys know any of the members, ask them if they still have a copy of their old album. Amazing album. I'm on the album because I helped them do gang vocals on one of the songs, which I'm pretty it was pretty cool for them allowing me to be part of that. But yeah, one of the heaviest bands, and then and I'm shouting out mostly local bands here because these are the bands that I kind of hope that they have gone on to do bigger and better things, and that they would have stuck together because they were just that good. It's just that it was hard for local LA bands to break out because at that time metal was so vast that it was too much to choose from, and they just didn't get chosen. But they were really good. One of them being Impurities, which I followed very closely, and they're pretty good friends of mine. And They were another heavy band that was local and was out there. I don't know if you could find any of their music anywhere. I know a couple of their songs are on YouTube. I found a couple of them. The other one is Eyes Burns Red. The singer is now part of Elixir, I believe. But they were a really good band. They had, more fast and heavy, but very, very good. And then, is there any other ones? I don't know. But, okay, some of the band members that are in Impurities, it's now part of, have now formed a band called Lions Amongst Wolves. They have a new album out. It's actually pretty good. I kind of did dig the album they had before, and they broke up, and they just got back together now. And they had just put out an EP or an album. I'm not sure if they consider an EP or if they consider an album, but they put out new music basically, and it is on Spotify and iTunes. So if you want to check out a good local band, look up Lions Amongst Wolves. Good friends of mine. Buy some of their songs. Go find them on social media and say hello. Let them know that I sent you there. But with that said, we'll end the show there with those special shout outs. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who watches and listens. If you do dig it, please do hit that like and subscribe. And with that said, we will see you guys on the next episode.